Sophie, till late in the third quarter, you guys were struggling offensively in that frame. Second half in general didn't feel the same as the first half on that end. Did something change for you guys? What did you see as kind of leading to stalling on that end?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of slow. And every time that we're slow, especially defensively, it just somehow affects our offense.
Well. Looks like Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell just turned another winnable game into a comedy reel. And the internet isn't letting this one slide. The best part? Sophie Cunningham, the one player who could have saved the day, was left wide open. Wide open. Before we go any further, tell me, would you have trusted Kelsey in crunch time?
Above her head is Cunningham with a steal. Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in. So they had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they were reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here. 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down. Now Sims launches ahead for Mitchell. What a pass by Odyssey Sims.
It's honestly hard to believe we're still talking about this, but the Indiana Fever never fail to give us fresh material. This latest disaster, courtesy of Stephanie White's play calling and Kelsey Mitchell's inability to close games, was the kind of meltdown that makes fans scream at their TVs. And Sophie Cunningham, she's standing there like the human answer key, wide open, arms ready, probably mouthing, "Pass me the damn ball," only to be ignored like a group text from your aunt at midnight. The disrespect couldn't have been louder if they'd announced it on the loudspeaker.
It's up to the chat. Get excited! It's in the chat. Why at the same time? Because I'm you and you're me. We switch parties. Zub's in the chat!
This is what happens when ego meets bad decision-making. Stephanie White clearly thought Mitchell was her go-to closer, when in reality, Kelsey has the consistency of a vending machine that keeps eating your dollar. Sure, Mitchell can score in spurts, but when the game is on the line, history has shown us exactly what happens. She clanks shots, she forces drives, and she fumbles opportunities like clockwork. The numbers don't lie, and neither do the collective groans of Fever fans who've seen this movie too many times.
Playing for the Buckeyes.
Here is the Buckeye product on the backdoor pass, but Mitchell lost the handle. Sutton thought about the three, steps in, Hull got a piece. Dolson has been wide open all possession, splashes home a three, and we are level at 47. It into Boston. Hand off Mitchell. Indiana has to hurry. Lob back for Boston. Boston finishes. It's a 2-point game, 5.9 seconds remaining.
Now, before we get too deep into the finger pointing, let's pause and talk about Sophie Cunningham. This woman has proven time and again that when you need a bucket late in the game, she is not afraid of the moment. Cunningham isn't a superstar, but she's reliable, clutch, and brings the kind of energy that makes defenses nervous. And on this night, she was wide open, practically waving a neon sign that said, "I got this." Yet somehow Stephanie White chose the least clutch option available. That's coaching malpractice, plain and simple. And here's the kicker. Even Caitlin Clark, who's in her second year now and has already carried this team more than the coaching staff deserves, looked completely fed up. The cameras caught her face after the final play, and you didn't need to be a body language expert to read it. Pure frustration. She's out there busting her tail, trying to give this team relevance, and then she has to watch her coach hand the ball to a player who has consistently failed in those moments. Clark's face said what every fan was thinking. Why in the world did you not pass to Sophie? But let's not stop with just the final play. This wasn't a one-possession disaster, it was a full-game implosion. The Fever had momentum, the crowd was into it, and the Mystics weren't exactly unbeatable. Indiana had multiple chances to seize control, but what did they do? They coughed it up with lazy turnovers, sloppy defense, and predictable offensive sets. Stephanie White looked like she was reading out of a decade-old coaching manual, while her players looked lost and out of rhythm. This is what happens when you combine poor preparation with poor execution. And then, when it mattered most, you top it all off with the wrong player taking the wrong shot. Instant regret doesn't even begin to cover it.
Cunningham looking, finds Mitchell, launches a corner three. It won't go. Rebound Ainxler. And this young Washington Mystics group who continues to impress throughout this season. And Sidney Johnson in his first year comes up with a big win on the road.
On their ball screen coverages right now.
There's Mitchell on the handoff, bounce pass. Boston one bounce and a left-handed finish. Here's Boston, the offensive rebound, flips inside to Howard, who lays it in.
You go step up screen, flare on the weak side. They had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they were reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down.
Fans were not quiet about this either. Social media exploded the second that final possession ended. Clips of Sophie standing alone on the perimeter started making the rounds like wildfire. Commenters were roasting both Mitchell and White for what might be the dumbest decision of the season. And to be fair, they earned every bit of that roasting. You can't blame the refs. You can't blame fatigue. You can't even blame luck. This was 100% on the coach and the player who decided hero ball was a good idea. 6. It also raises a bigger question. What exactly is Stephanie White's long-term vision for this team? Because from the outside looking in, it seems like she's more interested in forcing certain narratives than actually winning basketball games. If you truly wanted to win, you would have drawn up a play for Sophie Cunningham or Caitlin Clark, not Kelsey Mitchell. That's not disrespect to Kelsey. Well, actually, maybe it is, but it's also just the truth. At this point, Mitchell has shown us who she is. She's not a closer. She's not reliable under pressure. Yet somehow she keeps being handed the keys at crunch time. That's insanity. And if you're Sophie Cunningham, how do you not feel slighted? You did your job. You spaced the floor. You got yourself into position. And you were ignored for no reason other than stubborn coaching. It's the kind of decision that makes players lose faith in leadership. And once that faith is gone, good luck getting it back. The locker room dynamic has to be tense after a loss like this, especially when everyone knows who should have taken the shot and who actually took it. You can't hide from film, and you can't hide from the truth. Sophie was the answer, and they ignored her. We also have to talk about the standings. The Fever aren't exactly secure in their playoff positioning, and every game matters. Dropping games like this doesn't just hurt morale, it hurts the math. They're sliding down into 7th place. And if they keep this up, they're going to back their way into the playoffs, looking like a team that doesn't even belong there. And that's not fair to players like Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston, who are giving everything they have. They deserve a coach who knows how to close out games, not one who keeps repeating the same mistakes and expecting different results. The irony in all this, Sophie Cunningham's clutch reputation is exactly why teams respect her. She's proven she can hit big shots. Opposing defenses know it. But apparently, Stephanie White didn't get the memo. Instead, she thought it was a good idea to let Mitchell barrel into the lane like it was a random Tuesday practice scrimmage. And of course, the result was predictable. A missed layup, a wasted possession, and another tally in the loss column. It's incompetence dressed up as strategy.